What's up, all you pus-sucking motherfuckers out there? Thralls of Metal back at you once again. I am Rin, and I'm here to bring to you my top 10 best albums, in my humble opinion, of Year of Our COVID 2020. This year has sucked a tremendous amount of bad things that don't taste good, and you shouldn't put any of them in your mouth. But that's what this year did. It put all the bad things that don't taste good in our mouths. But you know what this year did do? Is it put all good things into our ears. And I'm talking about tasty, heavy metal music that warms the soul like the fires of hell. So if you saw the previous video, you'll see that it's kind of eclectic and a little all over the place, and there's some brutal and there's some, is it metal, is it not metal? That's kind of what I do. I'm divergent, mentally divergent. I come from the planet Ogo, and it's a convincing reality to me in every way. So my number 10 album of this year came out on September 4th, and it is the first album by this group. It's a shocker. It may or may not be metal, but I'm talking about When the Cold Truth Has Worn Its Miserable Welcome Out by the band N Minor, fronted by one Philip H. Anselmo. It is a major departure from anything he's previously done, except for maybe Southern Isolation and Floods, Learn from This Mistake off of Down 2. But this is total Nick Cave, Leonard Cohen. It's heavy in the content. Not crunchy guitars, not massive percussion. It's jazzy, it's a very New Orleans feel. Dr. John on Downers, Jimmy Bower from I Hate God plays on the record. Kevin Bond of Superjoint Ritual plays guitar. There's like 9 guys in the band. There's mandolin, there's keyboards, there's piano, there's strings, cello. It's heavy without being metal. Lyrically, musically, vibe, subject matter. It's moody and creepy, atmospheric and jazzy. May not be metal, but it's my list, and kiss my ass if you don't like it. Second song, Blue, awesome. They did a live stream of this record this year, and it's amazing. If you can check it out, check it out. Phil wearing a suit, and that's weird. Standing there with a mic stand, crazy. The song On the Floor, track 3, found dead on the floor. His vocals, he's thrashed his voice so much that he's like a baritone. He makes Peter Steele sound like an alto, which is crazy. Or the Crash Test Dummies fella. Yeah. The song Warm, Sharp Bat Sleep. That's just a heavy tune of, whoa. That's Razors, isn't it? Yeah, that's what you're talking about. But check it out. I dug it. If you like Phil or Nick Cave or Leonard Cohen or the like, Downtrodden, it's not a party record. Lay down, reflect, think. Maybe light up something, some sage or some patchouli. Damn hippie. So moving on to something more metallic sounding, my number 9 record is the third album, which came out on May 15th of this year. God damn, don't get me started, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, this is the third album by the band Shrapnel, Palace for the Insane. This was not recorded in 1986, but it feels like it. Doesn't necessarily sound like it, but it's fast thrash. Big floor worship on speed. Snarly vocals, lightning riffs, breakneck drums. Fun, super energetic. Great thrashy solos full of dive bombs, noodles, melody, everything you want in a thrash solo. Headbanging fury, stomp and slam. Put this patch on your battle vest. Get in the pit and, you know, maybe not anymore, but if concerts were still a thing, maybe they will be, maybe they won't be. But I'd love to check these fellas out live, and I'd love to slam into another long-haired fella that smells of cheap pot and flat beer, because this is what this album makes me want to do. Get sweaty with a stranger. Clothed, mostly, you know. Maybe some Doc Martens, some cut-off shorts, gauntlets, wallet chain, you know. The standard outfit. Everything you want in a thrash album. This is quality thrash. Check it out if you haven't already, and listen to their other stuff too, because it's just as damn good. put shrapnel in your brain. Continuing on the thrash train, this year was an epic year for thrash. Lots of thrash did not make my list because I picked some other weird things just to make it a little diverse, but Havoc came out this year. Killer stuff. Shit, bands I'm not even thinking of right now. Armored Saint, not necessarily thrash, but good stuff. But this is another kind of older band. This is their 6th album, came out on April 24th. Weapons of Tomorrow by Warbringer. These dudes have been doing it and doing it good for quite a while. Not forever, but quite a while. Fast Nutty. Also not recorded in 1986, but you get that vibe, which is awesome because I don't want to live in the present day. I want to live in 1986 when I was 23 years old and life was much simpler and we had trickle-down economics that would have worked if it wasn't for the Challenger exploding. It's on the aggressive side, not quite as shrapnel as a little, hey, let's have a good time. Warbringer's like, I'm gonna kill you. And it's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna take very long, you know what I mean? Break your neck, pump your fist, fist bang mania. If you're a chick, show them boobies. They'd appreciate it. That's the type of vibe you want. Fast triple picking, snarly vocals with just the right amount of grit to them. Highs, a little bit of Tom Araya. Oh yeah, bring it down, come on. Sometimes the vocals almost get a black metal vibe, which is killer. They get melodic at times. Put their patch on your battle vest and slam into a dude that you don't even know, but you're shaking hands and sharing a beer after the fucking gig, you know what I'm saying? Firepower kills. Crushed beneath the tracks. Power unsurpassed. These are some good songs. They're all good. But Warbringer, bing, check it out. If you saw my previous video, I talked about Vader and how I'm ashamed if I don't know their catalog by the back of my hand. I'm more ashamed that I don't know this band's entire catalog like the back of my hand. Because I should. I have no excuse, and I probably should be punished and sent into a very small space for a very long time to think about what I didn't do. I'm familiar with the album Scum and Diatribes by this band, and I'm familiar with this album, Throes of Joy in the Jaws of Defeatism by Napalm Death. I'm ashamed that I don't know more Napalm Death. I don't know why. I have no excuse. But this is Brutality. This is their 16th album. You'd think they'd slow down because they're getting up there, but Barney barks at you like a very angry British madman. Not unlike Jack the Ripper. He might be Jack the Ripper. I don't think he's that old. Fast, angry, dirty, classic. You feel like you need to take a shower after you listen to this. Like, yeah, Jesus. Is that tongue? This sounds like an album that needed to happen this year. They've been doing this for so long, and they put this out. It's amazing. It's amazing. Backlash just because. Flexing of the muscles. Oh, that's pathetic. The title track, Throws in the Jaws of Defeatism. Just nuts. There's some wacky things in here. Belly full of salt and spleen. Very strange track. But evil. Hard. Napalm Death. I need to do more homework. Moving onward to my 6th album of this year. Came out in March. It's the 7th album by the band Body Count, Body Count, Body Count, Body Count, Carnivore. I love Ice-T. He should be celebrated because he's Ice-T. Have him guest on everything. Have Ernie C guest on everything. Ernie C is a bad mamma jamma. They do a cover of Ace of Spades, tribute to them. Killer. They do a remake of Colors. Nightmare Walking, Psychopath Stalking. Bad A. They have some guests on here. Jamie Josta. Amy Lee from Evanescence. And she's on a song called When I'm Gone. And it's about Nipsey Hussle. Did I get that right? But he's a friend of Ice-T's, and he was talking about how people gave Nipsey props after he died. Well, I did that with another guest on this album, Riley Gale from Power Trip, who's on the song Point the Finger. And I was aware of Power Trip. I liked them, but I was really getting into them. And I think they would have been a future Lamb of God, somebody up there, like Slayer retired, Lamb of God moved up. You know what I mean? Like Slipknot will retire, and like Power Trip may have reached the heights, but we lost Riley this year. 2020, come and get it. Yeah, it was his last performance. Awesome song, Point the Finger. Rest in peace, brother. But the song Carnivore, Bum Rush. Ice-T's the man. I'm a big fan of their last, like, 3 albums. Good stuff. Good things here. We've reached the top 5. 5 to go. And then we can close out this year in celebration that it's over. Or has it just begun? I was not that familiar with this band. I heard a couple of things they did, and I enjoyed it, but this album came out October 23rd. It's the 4th album, Forgotten Days by Pallbearer. This album is disgusting and disturbing, just like the album cover. That freaks me out. I don't know why. It's not particularly brutal, it's just creepy. It's creepy. It's heavy as a really heavy thing. Doom. Melvin's vibe at points. Sweet 70s style vocals. They're clean vocals. Evil bits of psychedelia. Makes you want to walk through the beaded curtains and enter hell. Nice melodic bits here and there, but it's still crushingly heavy throughout it. I want to be near a lava lamp and a burning pyre at the same time. Maybe fire up a J. Maybe pull up a beanbag chair and hang out with the devil. Maybe there's PBR and Schlitz on tap. That's what this feels like. It's got like wino vibe. Maybe he's even in the band. I'm not entirely sure. He probably, oh, for fuck's sake. No, he's not in the band, but maybe he changed his name to something else. Forgotten Days, title track. Silver Wings, it's over 12 minutes long. It takes you on a journey into oblivion and back. Vengeance and Ruination, Pallbearer. I'm going to listen to their other 3 albums. More than I have, because this album crushes. The 4th album that I liked the most out of this year, out of everything I've heard, and Lord knows there was a lot. See Nick and John's videos. There's at least 80 bands there. This is the 9th album by these guys, came out on April 17th. Talking Venomous by the Black Dahlia Murder. I like where Black Dahlia is headed. Good, heavy. They're not going full tilt boogie 100% of the time anymore. And I like that. I like breaking it up, little dynamics. The guitars drop out at one point in one song and the bass just cruises for a second. Like, yeah, give me some tempo changes. Don't just... Trevor's the man. Nice dynamics. That's what makes this record tasty. Great drumming. Speedy, nutty-ass drumming. Thrashy, some death, some groove, some melody in the solos. Not so much in the vocals, but Trevor's got his highs, and he's got one of the best death growl voices next to Corpse Grinder, I think. Crisp production, high energy. Venomous, the title track. Sunless Empire is a killer tune. That's the one that's got the most dynamics into it, and I really dig it. The Leather Apron Scorn, they're doing a live string on the 18th of December. Yule 'em All. It's gonna be hilarious, it's gonna be awesome. Black Dahlia have a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun listening to this, and maybe you shall too. So my number 3 album, Tres, Uno, Dos, Tres, is the 15th album by legendary Sepultura, Quadra. Quarantine, COVID, Quadra. This is everything you want from new Sepultura. New meaning Derek's been in the band since 1998. But it's not Max, so it's a new. I don't know. You know, when Max left Sepultura, I was like, Nation wasn't all that good, Against wasn't all that great, but steadily, they've been putting out really good stuff. Machine Messiah was awesome. This album is a monster. A Brazilian monster. Derek's from Cleveland, mostly Brazilian. Killer riffs. Andreas is still bringing the thunder after all of these years. Great production. I cannot remember the damn drummer's name. It's not Igor. That doesn't matter, but it's not Igor, but he does a damn good job. There's some strings, orchestra, choir sounds. They may overdo it a little bit on this, but you know, they're testing the waters, making a wider vibe, bringing in the marimba like they did in Roots. you know, adding some stuff. But there's some killer songs on here. Isolation, which is probably the theme of the year, right? Isolation. That should be the COVID national anthem, right? Means to an End, the instrumental, the Pentagram, the 8th track is killer. I enjoy this album. I still think they should have changed the name, especially since no Cavalera brothers are involved anymore, but it's Andreas' gig, it's Paulo's gig. Hey, roll with it. I am a Sepultura fan, I've been a Sepultura fan, and I will continue to be a Sepultura fan, especially if they put out quality stuff like Quadra. My number 2 album of 2020, that's 220's number 2 album, is the 13th album by legendary thrash metal pioneers, Testament, with Titans of Creation. They've been doing this for a very long time, and they're putting out one of their best albums. Watch our discography and you'll see that most of us rank this pretty damn high. And in a 13 album catalog, that's pretty gosh darn impressive, I would say. Chuck Billy doing the Chuck Billy thing. Shrieking and screaming and barking and howling and growling and moving his long black hair. Alex Skolnick and his sexy skunk stripe making all the ladies and fellas moist with his sensual, sexy, guitar-laden melodies. Everything. Gene Hoglan on the drums, right? Yeah, pretty sure he is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's true. Everybody involved in Testament throughout the years has led to this album, Titans of Creation. My second favorite album of the year. I don't, it's gotta be on your lists, right? I would assume, unless you're weird. You picked Miley, didn't you? Miley Cyrus, right? I think you did. Children of the Next Level, Dream Deceiver, The Healers. The whole album is quality. Old school thrash by some of the best to ever do it. Titans of Creation. Ladies and gentlemen, it has come down to this. The giant, unwanted, rectal thrashing that was 2020 led us into this, the number 1 album that I picked for 2020. Trapped. I'm kidding. It's on the top of everyone's list. It's gotta be, because this album was written in 1986. And if you've heard the original demo of this, it sounds like pew. But you can hear the songs there. And somebody, Lemmy, graced us with this. The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny by Mr. Bungle is the number 1 album of 2020. Mike Patton. After everything he's done, I've never heard him scream, screech, squeal, bark, growl, blow chunks of larynx like he does on this album. Scott Ian from Anthrax, destroying every little bone in his wrist to riff out. Dave Lombardo barely cracking a sweat, beating the skins like he's not in his 50s. Trey Spruance, an unknown thrash guitar legend. We didn't know that. We couldn't tell from Disco Volante or California that this dude could shred tasty noodles. But by God, it's here on The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny. It rapes your mind, which is one of the songs on here, Raping Your Mind. The fact that Mike Patton turned 52 this year and delivered the most insane vocal performance of his career is just mind-boggling. I love this album. I'm going to listen to this album a lot for the rest of my life. Bungle Grind. Insanity. But not as insane as the 11th track, Sudden Death. You can't believe it. It shatters, if not rapes your mind. This album is what we needed, along with all the other beautiful, vile, and ugly things, sonically, that come out this year. Number 1. So, that concludes my list of my top 20 albums of 2020. You know, the year 2020 has gobbled a big old burlap sack full of flaccid penises. But if the powers that be let us peasants have electricity and the means to purchase and listen to music, then I believe heavy metal will thrive and survive as it has for the past 50 years since Black Sabbath graced us with their presence. I'd like to take the time to thank everybody for welcoming me this year to the channel, for subscribing. Maybe you found us, maybe you were already a fan, but thank you very much. It's something to do that we enjoy, and if we can bring joy to you, then hell to the yeah. We are glad to do it, and we want to make you happy. So if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the Thralls of Metal page, and you know, chalk up 2020 as a mulligan. Like to propose a toast? You know, raise your whatever you got in front of you. Fuck you, 2020. Here's to 2021. May the metal continue to be heavy, and may 2021 at least lube up our rectums before shoving both fists up our anus and clapping. We'll catch you on the flip.